Allison O'Toole, CEO for MNSure, and you are here in Alexandria, and there's a message that has to get out, and what's the main thing that you're trying to get out to people at this time of year?
Well, thanks for having me, Joe. Really appreciate it. Happy to be in Alexandria. I think the main message right now is that we're still open for business at MNSure. We just are coming off our most successful open enrollment period to date. That is great news for the state. More people than ever are saving money through tax credits, but we're still open for business. So my message to consumers is that if you are experience a life event, so you get married, have a baby, even have a change in income, you can still enroll in coverage outside of the normal open enrollment period. So come to MNSure.org, check us out, see if you can save money through tax credits. We are the only place where consumers can save money through tax credits. Those tax credits help drive down the cost of premiums. So really important to check us out, and we want consumers to have that help.
So we're looking at that type of legislation that's going through, that's kind of, like you said, making people a little unsure what is going on with MNSure.
Yeah.
And then you also have, on a federal level, what's going on with the Affordable Care Act and the uncertainty of that. So trying to bring some stability to people's, I guess, concerns, correct?
Yeah, that's right. And so here's what I know for sure is, and again, my main message, we're still open for business at MNSure. If you've experienced a life event, again, that change in your family size or change in income, you can still enroll. And I also know that we're going to open our doors for our 5th open enrollment period on November 1st this year. So we are here, and people can feel free to call us or visit our website at MNSure.org if they have questions about that. It is true, there is so much talk about the individual market, both at the federal and state level. Recently in the state, we have a law that just went into effect on Monday night at midnight that is an effort to stabilize the individual market. Last year, we saw premiums increase 50% or more, and consumers need relief from that. I'm not a policymaker. I don't set rates or set networks, doctor networks, or anything like that. MNSure is the place that can help people find the best deal. But when I look at the individual market, I think consumers do need relief. And I'm really hopeful that this new legislation, this new law, will bring down premium prices and maybe create greater competition and bring some choice back into the individual market.
You talked about tax credits and how that's working. Now, and you also have, through MNSure, you've broke down by district. And so looking at District 7, where we're at, of course, what are some of the significant things about District 7 that you feel are important for people to know?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. It's really important. Again, MNSure is the only place where consumers can take advantage of federal tax credits. Those tax credits act like instant discounts for consumers. They come right off their premium bill. And the average tax credit statewide is just over $600 a month. Here in this region, it is about $775 a month. That is real money. I think it averages over $9,300 a year. I don't want consumers to pass that up. And so, come to MNSure.org to see if you qualify. It can make a real difference. And those tax credits are just such an important component of the current law and hopefully whatever the future law is too.
How does MNSure, I guess for the person who doesn't know, they maybe haven't explored it, maybe they look at the MNSure site and say, I'm just overwhelmed, I don't know how I can do this. How does MNSure and Minnesota Care, how do those two work together, and how are they different, I guess?
Yeah, so MNSure is really, think about if you've ever bought an airline ticket on Kayak or Travelocity. MNSure is to health insurance what Kayak or Travelocity is to airline tickets. So we are the place where consumers can shop and compare health plans, do an apples-to-apples comparison, and make the best choice for themselves. We serve as a single front door for all Minnesotans on the individual market. So those are folks who are qualifying for private coverage, meaning self-employed folks, many folks in the farming community, early retirees, people like that, many of whom qualify for those tax credits. It's also the single front door for anyone on a public program. So our Minnesota's Medicaid program for really much lower income folks, that's called medical assistance, and then Minnesota Care, which is for kind of the middle of the road, a little bit, lower middle class folks who qualify for that. Minnesota Care is great coverage, and you can access that through our website as well.
Okay. Again, you had mentioned lower income families, people who are maybe already receiving some help in that regard, but this may focus also on people who are in the middle there, maybe self-employed, some of those mentioned. Do you want to go more detail on that, perhaps?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's really where my focus is most days. We serve as that single front door. You can find out any Minnesotan on the individual market can come to MNSure.org and find out if they qualify for a public program or a federal tax credit. Those federal tax credits, if you make as an individual, around about $47,000, you qualify for a tax credit. And that's, above the average, the median income in this area, I know. So I think there are a lot of people out there, if they're on the individual market, they can qualify for these tax credits that are making a huge difference.
Okay, the next question would be, again, if you're in a health insurance exchange, how many companies are coming to the table? I mean, we look at Southwest Minnesota has quite a few options. How does Western Minnesota look?
Yeah, it looks pretty good. And, when I mentioned the recent legislation that went through, I really hope efforts to stabilize the market bring other carriers into the market so consumers have even more choice. I think it's really important. I think competition also drives down cost, and so that could have a really, good impact for consumers. We won't know. Again, my job, I don't set the rates, I don't approve plans or anything like that. That's the Department of Commerce here in the state. And they will know, for this next year, what carriers are in the market, in a couple months, or in about 8 or 10 weeks. So we'll have a better picture of that going forward soon.
And how do you go about generating those? How do you go about assuring those companies that they should take part?
Yeah, well, I think this recent legislation is a big step in the right direction. It is a step forward in terms of stabilizing the market. I'm not a policymaker. I sure hope it has some other impact on the market too. I hope it is enough, builds enough confidence that other carriers come in, and I hope it also drives down premium price. Time will tell on that.
Okay, and we are talking with MNSure CEO Allison O'Toole. And there's, again, as we move forward, we're past the open enrollment period of time. There's the opportunity for some special enrollment if instances change in your life, circumstances change. But November 1st would be the next time for open enrollment again.
That's right. And whether or not you have a life event right now or you're waiting until November 1st, I think it's because there's so much discussion right now at both the state and the federal level. I really encourage people to, pay attention and engage, because there is a lot of change coming our way in this arena.
As the CEO for about a year and a half now, roughly, almost 2 years now, yeah. And obviously been involved with it since May. I guess the interim CEO in May. So we're going on 2 years here. This has been, it's been volatile turf. It has been, but yet at the end result, there's a lot of people who are receiving care. So there's that mixed balance of things that have come with this job. So what are some of the things that you're glad about? What are some things you're hopeful for moving forward?
Yeah, thanks for that question. I've been with MNSure 3 years, 2 years as the CEO. And we have made tremendous progress in those 3 years. A few years, 4 years ago before I was there, our rollout was rocky. And we've really turned a corner now. The last 2 years we've exceeded our enrollment projections, which means more Minnesotans are getting covered. In just 2 years' time, we cut the uninsured rate in half in this state, and now 96% of Minnesotans are covered, and that's good news. I think when more people are covered, our state is healthier, our economy is stronger, and I'm really, really proud of that. One thing also that I should mention is that we've spent the last 3 years building up this network of assistants across the state to help people on the individual market enroll into coverage. We know from research that people need help. This is complicated. And people don't know how they can save money or what they qualify for. So we have brokers across the state and also navigators who help primarily with public program enrollment. But in every corner of the state, we have folks to help. And if you want to access that help, it's right on our website at MNSure.org. Go to our sister directory and find out, where someone is that lives close to.
Early on, I think people initially, the reaction was, this is a program that's on the backs of working Minnesotans. Is that just misinformed, or is that silly thought, or is that, there's a certain amount of, we're helping other people throughout the state with their coverage, correct?
Yeah. Well, that's one way to look at it. I think we are all helping each other in this insurance world. One of the challenges I think Minnesota has is that our individual market here is smaller than many other states. And so that spreads, when you spread risk over a smaller pool, that sometimes gets out of whack. Again, this new law that just went into effect, I hope, helps drive down costs for consumers on the individual market, but again, time will tell.
Okay. Allison O'Toole, Chief Executive Officer of MNSure, I appreciate you stopping in. You'll be up at Town Hall meeting on Monday, the 10th of April, up in Moorhead at Horizon Middle School with Colin Peterson, talking about MNSure and healthcare and all things related to health, I would assume.
Yeah.
So a good opportunity for people to meet and talk with you if they'd like. But again, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks so much.